Hello, dear friends, and welcome to today's deeply reflective journey. I'm so glad you're here, and I want to thank you for taking the time to join me in exploring a topic that is often overlooked, yet so profoundly important for those walking a spiritual path. Have you ever felt that uneasy pull, that subtle shift in the atmosphere around you, when something just doesn't feel quite right? It's as though everything on the surface seems calm, even peaceful, but deep inside you feel a stirring, knowing that something needs to change and soon. That feeling, my friends, is not just a fleeting moment of doubt or confusion. It's a spiritual awakening, a sign that your spirit is perceiving something that the physical world hasn't caught up to yet. It's a moment when God is gently guiding you, calling you to recognize that change is on the horizon. But how do we know when that shift is a divine message? How can we be certain that what we're sensing isn't just our own emotions or the result of something we've overheard or seen? The truth is, the answers to these questions often come in ways we least expect, through signs, symbols, and messages that transcend the ordinary. And sometimes these signs come in the form of animals. It might sound unusual, but hear me out. God has always had a way of using His creation to speak to us long before we fully understood the depth of His wisdom. From the very beginning, the scriptures show us that God has used animals as messengers, spiritual markers, and sometimes even as warnings to guide His people in moments of uncertainty or transition. Perhaps you've already experienced this, maybe even without realizing it. Have you ever encountered a specific animal at a moment in your life when you were unsure of your next step? Maybe a bird caught your eye as you were struggling with a difficult decision, or a certain creature kept appearing in your dreams, sending a strange, almost eerie message. Or perhaps you've seen the same animal repeatedly crossing your path at the very time you felt something shifting within you. These moments aren't coincidental. They are not random occurrences or mere happenstance. They are divine communications, spiritual signs sent by God to guide you, protect you, and even prepare you for what's to come. The key is learning to recognize these messages and understanding their deeper meaning. Today we are going to dive into a profound exploration of 9 specific animals that God uses to warn, protect, and guide His chosen ones when it's time to leave a place, a person, or a situation that no longer serves their purpose. Each of these animals carries a unique and powerful message, and together they form a kind of spiritual compass that can help you discern the direction you need to take when things start to feel unclear. Now, I know that some of you might be skeptical. You might wonder, can God really use animals to speak to us? Is this really how He communicates? To that I say yes. Over the centuries, through the Bible and many spiritual teachings, it's been clear that God often speaks through the natural world. He uses everything from the wind to the trees, from the stars to the animals, to convey messages to His people. These creatures are not just mindless beings. They are part of His creation, imbued with purpose and meaning that goes far beyond what we can see on the surface. In fact, throughout history, animals have been used as symbols of divine intervention, and their appearances are often linked to significant moments of change or awakening in a person's life. So if you've ever had a strange encounter with an animal, or if one of these creatures has crossed your path repeatedly in a time of personal uncertainty, there might be a deeper meaning that you've overlooked. Take a deep breath and open your spirit as we begin to explore how God uses these 9 animals to speak to us. I'm going to share with you the spiritual significance behind each one, the messages they carry, and the actions they are calling you to take. Whether you've seen these animals in your dreams, in the physical world, or in patterns of your daily life, I want to help you understand how to recognize these divine signs and what to do next. I know this may feel like a lot to absorb, but trust me, if you've been feeling a shift inside, a pull, a sense of restlessness, or a desire for change, the message you're about to hear might be exactly what your soul has been seeking. It's no coincidence that you're here today. As we dive into the first of these divine messengers, I invite you to think about any animals that have crossed your path recently. Have you noticed any strange patterns? Have certain creatures shown up during times of emotional conflict or inner turmoil? These could be God's way of speaking to you, guiding you toward a better, more fulfilling path. So let's embark on this journey together as we begin to unlock the meaning of the animals God has sent to warn you to leave a person or a place that no longer serves your higher purpose. But before we get started, I want to take a moment to remind you to subscribe to the channel so you can stay connected and continue receiving these messages of wisdom and guidance. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the spiritual insights we'll be sharing here. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. We're about to dive deep into this message, and I believe it might be the answer you've been waiting for. As we begin this journey of spiritual discernment, we'll start with one of the most powerful and symbolic creatures God uses to guide his chosen ones, the owl. The owl is a creature that carries with it a deep spiritual meaning, often associated with revelation awareness and the breaking of illusions. When the owl crosses your path, it's never by chance. It's a divine messenger sent to open your eyes to truths that have been hidden from your view. For those who are walking in a divine calling, the owl appears at a time when something in their life needs to be revealed, something that has been cloaked in darkness, unnoticed or ignored. The chosen ones, those who have been set apart by God for a higher purpose, are often characterized by their loyalty, patience, and merciful nature. Because of these traits, they sometimes find it difficult to let go of situations, relationships, or environments that no longer serve them. They hold on sometimes even when they know deep inside that it's time to move on. It is in these moments of spiritual blindness when the heart senses change but the eyes do not yet see that the owl enters. The owl is a creature that sees in the dark. Its piercing eyes can penetrate the night, exposing what others may miss. Spiritually, the owl represents God's revelation of hidden truths. When it appears to you, God is telling you, I am showing you what you could not see on your own. This is not just a warning, but an invitation to open your spiritual eyes and become aware of the things that have been hidden beneath the surface of your life. Imagine this for a moment. You may be in a friendship, a relationship, or even a work environment where things seem fine on the surface. Conversations are polite, the atmosphere feels calm, and everything appears to be going smoothly. But deep within, something feels off. You sense that something is not quite right, but you can't put your finger on it. Maybe you've had a feeling that a friend or colleague is not being entirely truthful with you, or that the people around you are harboring motives you cannot fully understand. This feeling is your spirit trying to warn you that there is more going on than meets the eye. And just when you need it most, God sends the owl to confirm your suspicions and open your eyes to what is hidden. When the owl appears in your life, whether in dreams and visions or even in real life, it's a sign that God is revealing something that you were unable to see before. It could be a relationship that has become toxic, a friendship that has lost its truth, or an environment that no longer aligns with your divine purpose. The owl's presence is not meant to bring fear, but rather to illuminate the darkness and prepare you to move forward. It's a call to step away from the situations, places, or people that no longer support your spiritual growth. This is important. The owl does not show up just to create discomfort. It appears when the spirit is sensing a change, a shift in the energy around you that your mind may not have fully grasped yet. It is in these moments of restlessness, when the environment feels spiritually heavy, that the owl comes as a guide. The message it carries is clear. You are being called to move away from what no longer serves you. You cannot remain where lies prevail, and you must not ignore the divine revelation that God is offering you through this animal. The owl is a powerful symbol of spiritual awareness. It helps you see beyond the surface, beyond the deception, beyond the false appearances. When the owl appears to you, it's a sign that God is calling you to look deeper into the truth of your circumstances. It's urging you to examine the relationships, environments, and situations you are in, and ask yourself, is this truly aligned with the purpose that God has for me? Are these people and places supporting my light, or are they slowly dimming it? For the chosen ones, the owl often appears at critical moments of transition. It's a warning that things have shifted, maybe imperceptibly, but significantly, and it's time to pay attention. The owl calls you to recognize what has changed in your life, even if no one else can see it. It tells you that you are no longer in the right place, and it confirms that the time has come for you to withdraw from what is no longer meant for you. If you have seen the owl repeatedly, or if it has shown up during moments of doubt or inner turmoil, this is not a coincidence. God is revealing something to you. There may be a person in your life whose intentions are no longer pure. Maybe there's a situation that is spiritually draining you, or a place that is stifling your growth. The owl's presence confirms that something needs to change, and it's your spiritual responsibility to listen and act upon the revelation it brings. It's important to note that the owl's warning is not a sign of immediate danger, but rather an invitation to prepare for what is to come. God does not send the owl to cause fear, but to give you the time and space to discern what is happening around you. It is an opportunity to get ahead of a situation before it escalates into something harmful. It's a call to step away before you are emotionally or spiritually exhausted. It's God's way of protecting you from what you might not yet see. So when the owl shows up in your life, take a moment to pause. Reflect on what has been happening around you. Are there relationships or environments that are no longer nourishing you? Are there situations where truth is being hidden or where manipulation is taking place behind the scenes? Listen to the quiet whispers of your spirit and trust that the owl is there to guide you toward clarity and away from harm. The owl is not just a sign of revelation but also of protection. By revealing what has been concealed, it allows you to make the right choices and move in the direction that God has prepared for you. It's a reminder that God's protection is always with you, guiding you away from what would harm you and leading you toward a place of spiritual peace and alignment. In conclusion, when the owl enters your life, it's a message to open your eyes to the truth. God is revealing what has been hidden, what no longer serves you, and what is out of alignment with your divine calling. The owl is calling you to trust your spiritual senses, to discern what's happening beneath the surface, and to take action before things spiral into destruction. Its presence is not one of fear, but one of divine protection and preparation. Don't ignore this sign. Embrace the opportunity to step away from what no longer supports your light and move forward in alignment with the purpose God has for you. Now that we've explored the profound revelation brought by the owl, let's move to another powerful creature that plays a significant role in the spiritual journey, the raven. Like the owl, the raven is not a mere messenger of warning. It carries a deep spiritual significance, often associated with the closing of a cycle. This is a difficult concept for many, especially those who are deeply connected to their past and the people or environments they've built relationships with. But when the raven appears, it's a signal from God that it's time to let go and move on. The raven is a creature that may seem dark or ominous to some, but in spiritual terms, it represents liberation, not destruction. The raven does not symbolize a bleak or final end. Instead, it signifies the end of a season or chapter that has fulfilled its purpose, a moment when you are being invited to release something that no longer serves you. This could be a relationship that has outlived its purpose, a career path that has become spiritually draining, or a situation that has exhausted its potential to nurture your soul. For many of the chosen ones, this is a particularly hard lesson. When you carry a divine calling, your heart tends to form strong attachments to the people and places around you. You invest time, love, and energy into these relationships and situations, sometimes for years. There's a sense of commitment, a belief in the potential for growth, and a deep hope that things will improve. Letting go can feel like an act of failure, even though it's often the very thing that will open the door to a new and greater chapter in your life. This is where the raven's message becomes clear. God has already decided that it's time for a change, even when you are still clinging to what you once believed was important. The raven appears as a messenger to help you release those attachments, to break free from the stagnation that is keeping you from stepping into the fullness of your divine purpose. The raven's presence signals that a cycle is closing not out of malice or destruction, but out of divine wisdom. It's as if God is saying, you've learned what you needed to learn. The lesson is complete, and the time has come for you to move on. The raven is here to remind you that staying in a place or relationship that no longer nurtures your spiritual growth is not only counterproductive but also harmful to your soul. When the raven appears, whether physically in your environment or symbolically in your dreams, it is often accompanied by a feeling of spiritual weariness. You may feel drained, tired, or spiritually exhausted, even if the situation on the surface seems perfectly fine. This exhaustion is a sign that the spiritual energy that once flowed freely in that environment has now dried up. The raven is calling you to recognize that God's presence has already withdrawn from that space, and remaining there will only deplete your energy further. The raven's symbolism can be traced back to biblical times, where it was used as a messenger of divine protection and provision. In the Old Testament, the prophet Elijah was fed by ravens during a time of deep need, showing that the raven is not just a symbol of endings, but also a provider of guidance through transitions. This shows that the raven's appearance isn't about leading you to despair, but about leading you toward a new beginning. Its message is not about destruction, it is about liberation and renewal. The raven encourages the chosen one to stop feeding what God has already dried up. It urges you to stop giving energy to the relationships or situations that have become spiritually suffocating. You may be holding on to them out of fear, guilt, or loyalty, but the raven's message is one of clarity. Continuing to invest in a space where God's presence no longer dwells will only lead to emotional exhaustion, spiritual suffocation, and a proselyte, loss of direction. When the raven appears repeatedly in your life, it is a sign that God is calling you to release attachments, no matter how painful or difficult that may be. It's calling you to stop resuscitating something that is already dead in the spiritual realm. Sometimes the hardest part of moving forward is acknowledging that a phase of your life has ended, especially when you are still emotionally tied to it. The raven comes as a divine reminder that the past cannot be revived. It's time to step away and open yourself up to what God has in store for the next chapter. This process of letting go can feel daunting. Change is never easy, especially when it involves letting go of something or someone you once cherished. But the raven is not a sign of abandonment. Instead, it's a message of protection. God is not removing you from these environments or relationships out of cruelty or punishment. He is removing you from them because He knows it's for your spiritual well-being. The raven is here to break your resistance to moving forward, and in doing so, it paves the way for new growth, new opportunities, and the fulfillment of your divine calling. When the raven appears in your life, ask yourself, what is no longer serving me spiritually? What relationships have become stale or toxic? What environments have I outgrown? These questions are not meant to provoke guilt, but to help you discern where God is calling you to make a change. The raven is here to help you realize that staying in the past will only delay the divine plan that is unfolding in your life. Now you might be asking, how do I know when it's truly time to let go? The raven gives you clear signs. If you've been feeling spiritually drained, if your energy feels out of alignment with the environment you're in, or if you're holding on to something out of obligation rather than peace, these are all indications that the cycle is over. God has already decided that it's time for you to move on, and the raven is the messenger urging you to embrace that transition. The raven's message is also a call to trust in God's provision. As you release what has become stagnant or unaligned, trust that God will lead you to something better. The raven in its wisdom is showing you that what you are being called to let go of is not the end but a stepping stone to something far more fulfilling. You may not see what lies ahead, but trust that God is guiding you toward a greater purpose, and you will find nourishment and peace in the next chapter of your journey. In conclusion, the raven is a messenger of divine transition. It comes to help you release what no longer serves you, to break the resistance you may have to letting go, and to guide you towards spiritual liberation. When the raven appears, it's a reminder that God has already closed one door and is now opening another. It's a sign that the time has come to stop investing in relationships, places, or situations that no longer nurture your soul. Trust that the raven's message is one of divine protection and renewal, and know that by letting go, you are stepping into a new season of spiritual growth and fulfillment. Now that we've explored the messages of revelation and liberation through the owl and the raven, we move to another animal with deep spiritual significance, the serpent. Unlike the owl or the raven, the serpent often brings a message of exposure, revealing hidden dangers that may be lurking around you, often unnoticed or ignored. In many spiritual traditions, the serpent represents the unveiling of truth, often in the form of betrayal or deceit. Its appearance serves as a powerful reminder from God to step back, recognize the danger, and protect yourself before harm becomes inevitable. The serpent doesn't symbolize an attack or a physical threat in the traditional sense. Instead, it symbolizes spiritual deception, hidden malice, and danger that has been silently creeping into your life. God uses the serpent as a divine alarm, warning you about the threat that may not yet have manifested, but is already beginning to take shape. When the serpent shows up, it's not about fear, it's about awareness. God is calling you to wake up to the subtle signs of danger that have been around you but have remained undetected until now. One of the most crucial aspects of the serpent's message is that it brings clarity to what has been hidden beneath the surface. The chosen ones are often kind-hearted, trusting, and generous, which can make them vulnerable to manipulation and deceit. They are naturally inclined to see the best in people, even when others may not have pure intentions. Because of this, the chosen are often targeted by those who seek to take advantage of their generosity, kindness, and loyalty. The serpent is God's way of saying, "Wake up. The danger you haven't noticed is closer than you think." The serpent's appearance is a clear sign that someone or something in your life is not aligned with your spiritual purpose. This could be a person whose true intentions have been concealed, a relationship that has become toxic, or an environment that is silently draining your energy and peace. The serpent does not come to create fear, but to expose what is hidden in the shadows. It cuts through illusions, unveiling the truth that has been camouflaged. When you see the serpent, whether in your dreams in real life or through repeated symbolic appearances, it is time to ask yourself, what am I not seeing? There is a spiritual principle at play here. Often the enemy doesn't approach the chosen one directly or openly. Instead, it comes disguised as something or someone harmless or even affectionate. The serpent reveals the hidden nature of this threat, making it impossible to ignore what has been quietly building beneath the surface. It uncovers the true nature of those around you who smiles at you while plotting behind your back, who acts friendly while harboring jealousy, who seems supportive but is secretly sabotaging your progress. For example, the serpent might show up when a friend, family member, or colleague begins to exhibit behavior that doesn't align with their previous actions. Perhaps you've noticed subtle changes in their demeanor or words that feel off. You may sense a shift in their energy toward you, but you can't quite put your finger on it. The serpent is a divine sign that this change is not accidental. It's a manifestation of something hidden that has begun to surface. This is not a moment of random discomfort. This is God warning you that something beneath the surface has changed, and it's time to step back, observe, and protect your peace. The appearance of the serpent is often accompanied by feelings of unease, uncertainty, or doubt. These feelings are not to be ignored, as they are divine indicators that something is wrong. When the serpent shows up, God is exposing the danger that has been hidden in plain sight. This could be the manipulation of someone close to you, the betrayal of a trusted ally, or the discovery of motives that were previously unknown. The serpent's message is clear: do not trust blindly. When the serpent slithers into your life, it's God's way of saying there's something you don't know. Protect your heart, your mind, and your spirit. It is critical in these moments to use discernment. The serpent does not speak in whispers or vague suggestions, it comes with clarity. The clarity might not always be immediate, but it will always reveal itself to you if you are willing to listen to your spirit and trust in God's guidance. The serpent's role is to expose what has been cloaked in darkness, to show you the true nature of those around you, and to give you the wisdom to step back before the situation becomes more damaging. Sometimes the serpent's warning is a call to sever ties with people or situations that have grown toxic. It's a reminder that trust must be earned, and that you must protect your light from being dimmed by those who do not have your best interests at heart. You may have been in a situation where you've ignored red flags or rationalized someone's actions because of your affection for them. The serpent's appearance is a wake-up call from God, urging you to stop ignoring what your spirit is trying to tell you. It's telling you to act, to withdraw, to protect your peace, and to separate yourself from what is spiritually toxic. For the chosen, this is one of the most important messages that the serpent delivers. The enemy's greatest weapon is deception. The chosen ones often walk with an open heart and trust those around them, believing in the good intentions of others. However, the serpent reminds you that not everyone who comes into your life does so with pure motives. Discernment is the key, and God will use the serpent to help you sharpen that discernment. If the serpent has appeared in your life, it's not meant to bring fear. It's meant to give you spiritual clarity, helping you see the hidden dangers that may be surrounding you. The serpent's role is to protect you by exposing what was once hidden. Its message is one of divine protection, showing you where to draw boundaries, where to trust less, and where to walk away before harm can come to you. In conclusion, the serpent is not an enemy but a divine messenger. It arrives to reveal the deceit, manipulation, and hidden danger that may have been silently creeping into your life. It helps you see beyond the illusion of safety and comfort, urging you to recognize the truth of what's been lurking beneath the surface. When the serpent appears, it is God's way of guiding you toward wisdom, discernment, and protection. Trust in this warning and allow the serpent's message to lead you away from situations or relationships that are not in alignment with your divine purpose. The danger may not be immediately visible, but with the serpent's help you will see what God has already uncovered for you, and you'll be prepared to take action before any harm comes your way. As we continue our journey through the spiritual messages that animals bring into our lives, we now turn to a creature that holds a unique place in many spiritual traditions: the dog. The dog is not only known as a loyal companion to humans, but also plays a significant role in spiritual discernment. In fact, the dog is one of the most remarkable animals God uses to reveal the truth about loyalty and the energy surrounding you. Its role is often less about what is overtly visible and more about what is hidden in the emotional or spiritual realm. When the dog appears, it offers a spiritual mirror to reflect the loyalty and intentions of those around you, helping you understand who truly stands with you and who might not. The dog is known for its acute instincts and its ability to sense emotions before they are verbalized. This unique ability makes the dog a spiritual sentinel, especially for the chosen ones, who often carry a light that can expose the intentions of those they interact with. Whether you are in a friendship, a romantic relationship, or even in a professional environment, the dog's behavior can help you understand the energy around you that may be invisible to the naked eye. It serves as a divine protector, alerting you to potential threats to your peace and well-being before they fully manifest. For many of the chosen ones, the dog's message is one of protection. The chosen are often people who love deeply and trust fully. Because of their open-hearted nature, they can sometimes overlook subtle emotional cues that reveal when someone's loyalty is being compromised. This is where the dog comes in. It senses energy long before words are spoken. When the dog reacts to someone in a way that seems out of character, or if it becomes restless or uneasy around a particular person, it's often a spiritual sign that something is wrong. This isn't just a dog being playful or nervous, it's a deeper, more profound warning about the energy it is picking up on. If you've ever noticed that your dog growls, pulls away, or becomes uneasy around a certain person, you should pay attention. Dogs are incredibly attuned to the spiritual and emotional undercurrents of human interactions. They can pick up on subtle shifts in energy that we as humans might miss. The dog's behavior becomes a silent revelation about someone's changed intentions, or a signal that the connection between you and this person has been altered on a deeper spiritual level. It is not a coincidence when the dog reacts this way. It is God speaking through the animal, urging you to trust your instincts and discern the truth. Consider a time when someone you trusted began to act differently. Maybe they started showing signs of jealousy, competition, or coldness toward you. You might not have been able to fully explain what felt off, but your dog could sense it immediately. Its reaction, whether it was growling, pulling away, or becoming more protective around you, was not just a random behavior. It was a message from God guiding you to recognize that something was changing in the dynamics of that relationship. The dog is revealing the truth, urging you to trust your own inner discernment and to pay attention to what your spirit is picking up, even if you can't fully articulate it yet. For the chosen, loyalty is a rare and precious thing. The ability to give yourself wholeheartedly to others, to love without reservation, and to trust fully is a gift. However, this gift can sometimes leave you vulnerable. The dog's role is to protect that vulnerability by helping you detect when someone's intentions have shifted or when their loyalty is no longer genuine. In relationships where the emotional investment is high, the dog helps you navigate the complexities of human connection, particularly when those around you may not be as trustworthy as they appear. This is not about being paranoid or distrustful. It's about spiritual discernment. The dog's behavior does not call for fear, but for awareness. It's a tool that helps you understand when a bond has weakened, when a relationship has lost its purpose, or when the energy around you has shifted in a way that no longer supports your growth. The dog is a protector, not by isolating you, but by helping you make wise decisions about who you allow into your space. It teaches you to protect your heart, not by shutting people out, but by being mindful of who truly deserves your trust and loyalty. When you are in a situation where loyalty is being questioned, the dog's message is clear: look closer. The dog is telling you to examine the relationships in your life and ask yourself, who is still walking with me in truth, and who has become emotionally distant or disconnected. Not everyone who is physically close to you is spiritually aligned with you. Sometimes people stay in your life because it's convenient or because they benefit from your presence. But the dog is there to help you discern the difference between true friendship and convenience. The dog is also a spiritual guide when it comes to setting boundaries. The chosen ones, with their open hearts and deep trust in others, often have a hard time recognizing when it's time to set limits. The dog, with its sensitivity to energy, can help you see when boundaries are being crossed or when someone is taking advantage of your trust. It's not about shutting people out, but about respecting your own spiritual needs and ensuring that your environment supports your peace and growth. For the chosen, this message is essential. God knows that the enemy often works through relationships, using deceit, jealousy, and emotional manipulation to divert you from your divine path. The dog is one of the ways God intervenes to reveal the truth before it becomes destructive. It provides the clarity and discernment needed to understand when a relationship is no longer healthy and when it's time to step back and reassess. This may mean distancing yourself from someone who has begun to act in ways that are not aligned with your purpose. The dog's behavior gives you the spiritual confidence to take action, knowing that you are being guided to protect your heart and your purpose. In some cases, the dog's warning may mean stepping away from a toxic relationship altogether, even if it's painful or difficult. It's never easy to walk away from someone you care about, but the dog's message is one of divine protection. By heeding the dog's instinctual reactions, you are choosing to preserve your light, your peace, and your spiritual integrity. Trust that this process is necessary for your growth, and that God is leading you to healthier, more supportive connections. In conclusion, the dog's appearance in your life is a gift of divine discernment. It teaches you to recognize when someone's loyalty is faltering, when the energy around you is shifting, and when it's time to protect your heart. Through its natural instincts and spiritual sensitivity, the dog reveals what may not be visible to the human eye, exposing broken loyalties, hidden tensions, and false intentions. Trust the dog's behavior as a reflection of God's protective guidance. It is not about fear or suspicion, but about discernment and wisdom, helping you create an environment that supports your divine calling and purpose. By listening to the dog's messages, you empower yourself to move forward with clarity, confidence, and the peace that comes from knowing that God is always protecting you. As we move forward in our exploration of the spiritual messages conveyed by animals, we now turn our attention to one of the most majestic and powerful creatures, the falcon. The falcon's presence in your life carries a divine message of elevation, spiritual growth, and the need to transcend your current environment in order to step into a higher calling. Unlike the other animals we've discussed, the falcon's role is not merely to warn or expose. It calls the chosen one to rise above their current circumstances and embrace the destiny that lies beyond. The falcon, known for its keen vision and ability to soar to great heights, symbolizes spiritual vision and the ability to see beyond the limitations of the physical world. It is a creature that exists in a higher realm, capable of seeing the broader picture, while others are confined to a limited perspective. When the falcon enters your life, it is God's invitation to expand your spiritual vision, to look beyond the boundaries of your current situation, and to see the potential that lies beyond your current circumstances. For many of the chosen ones, the falcon's appearance signals a season of inner growth that has outpaced their external environment. You may have reached a point in your journey where your thoughts, your dreams, and your sense of purpose are expanding, yet your surroundings feel small, restrictive, or limiting. This is a powerful moment of transition. It is not a time to stay confined to the places or people who cannot support your growth, but a time to rise above and move toward the new opportunities that God is preparing for you. When the falcon appears, it is often because you have reached a spiritual threshold where you can no longer remain in the environment that once supported you. This might be an old job that no longer challenges you, friendships that have grown stagnant, or even a community that no longer aligns with your spiritual purpose. In these moments, the falcon represents God's call to leave behind the old and ascend to the new. It is a call to break free from the confines of your current phase of life and to trust that God has something greater in store for you, something that requires you to move beyond what you have known. The falcon's ability to fly high above the ground gives it a unique vantage point. It sees the landscape from a perspective that others cannot access. Spiritually, the falcon's appearance in your life suggests that you too are being called to rise above the limitations of your present reality. Your current situation may feel comfortable, even safe, but the falcon reminds you that you were created for something greater. You were not meant to stay grounded where you are. The time has come for you to expand your horizons and move to a higher level of understanding, influence, and purpose. This can be a difficult message for the chosen, as there is often a temptation to stay small in order to avoid discomfort or conflict. Many of us shrink ourselves to fit in with the expectations of others, or we limit our dreams because we fear outgrowing the people around us. But the falcon comes to break this pattern. It represents spiritual elevation, and its message is clear. You were not made to crawl where God created you to fly. The falcon's appearance often marks a time when you are being called to leave behind the comfort zone that has protected you in the past. It's a time when you need to step into a new dimension of your purpose and calling. The falcon is not just a symbol of upward movement, it is a command to rise. It is a divine imperative to stop playing small and to embrace the fullness of the potential that God has placed within you. The falcon encourages you to trust in your own ability, to soar, to break free from the limitations that have held you back, and to trust that God is opening new doors for you to walk through. When the falcon appears in your life, it often brings a sense of urgency. You may feel the pressure of a season that is quickly closing and a new opportunity that is waiting just beyond your reach. The falcon does not come to coax you into making a decision. It comes with a call to action. It is time to leave behind everything that is holding you back, whether that is a relationship, a job, a mindset, or a location. The falcon signals that new opportunities are waiting for you, but you must be willing to rise above the past in order to seize them. The falcon also represents vision, spiritual vision that allows you to see things from a higher perspective. When it appears, God is inviting you to see beyond the limitations of your current environment and to catch a glimpse of the future that He is preparing for you. This higher vision may not always make sense to others, and it may not even make sense to you at first. But the falcon encourages you to trust in the vision that God has given you, even if it feels uncomfortable or difficult to understand. Your next step will require faith and courage, but know that God has already gone ahead of you, preparing the way for your elevation. This process of spiritual elevation may feel uncomfortable. It often involves stepping into the unknown and leaving behind the familiar. But God uses the falcon to remind you that it's not about the external circumstances, it's about your inner growth and your ability to step into the new season He has prepared for you. The falcon's role is to help you embrace the discomfort that comes with growth and to trust that it is leading you to a place of greater purpose and fulfillment. For the chosen ones, this message is crucial. Often when we experience spiritual growth, we feel the tension between where we've been and where we are being called to go. The falcon is God's way of confirming that it's time to break through the limitations of your current situation. You are being called to a higher level, one that requires you to leave behind what no longer fits, and to move toward the destiny that God has been preparing for you all along. The falcon's message is not one of fear or hesitation, but one of courage and faith. It calls you to embrace the freedom that comes with elevation. When you follow the falcon's call, you will experience a sense of liberation as you rise above your former limitations and walk into the fullness of the life that God has designed for you. In conclusion, the falcon's presence in your life is a powerful and decisive sign that it is time for you to rise above your current circumstances and move toward the higher calling that God has placed on your life. It's a call to spiritual elevation, to embrace the vision that God has given you and to trust that He is leading you toward greater opportunities and greater fulfillment. The falcon challenges you to leave behind what no longer serves you and to soar to new heights, knowing that God has already prepared the way for you to step into your higher purpose. As we come to the end of this journey through the spiritual messages delivered by animals, I want to take a moment to reflect on the powerful and profound lessons we've uncovered together. Throughout this exploration, we've discussed the ways in which God uses His creation not only to provide beauty and joy, but also to speak to His chosen ones, guiding them in moments of uncertainty, transition, and growth. The animals we've talked about, from the owl to the falcon, all carry distinct messages, and each serves as a spiritual tool to help you discern the path you are meant to walk. We began with the owl, a creature of wisdom and revelation. The owl's presence is never accidental. It appears when something has been hidden in your life, whether it's a truth about yourself, someone close to you, or a situation you've been ignoring. God uses the owl to awaken your spiritual sight, to help you see what you cannot see on your own. When the owl shows up, it's not to frighten you, but to show you what lies beneath the surface. It calls you to step out of spiritual blindness and embrace the truth that God is revealing to you. Through the owl, God asks you to discern, to look beyond the external appearances, and to trust the divine wisdom that He is placing in your spirit. Next, we encountered the raven, a symbol of endings and new beginnings. The raven is not about destruction, but about liberation. When the raven comes, it signals the closing of a chapter in your life that has run its course. The relationships, situations, or environments that once nourished you are no longer able to provide what you need to grow spiritually. The raven urges you to release the old in order to make space for the new. Letting go is never easy, especially when it involves people or circumstances we've invested deeply in. But the raven teaches us that God's plan is greater than our attachment to the past. And by trusting in that plan, we open ourselves to a new season of growth and purpose. The serpent followed, revealing its divine role as the exposer of hidden dangers. Often seen with fear and suspicion, the serpent is not an adversary, but a messenger sent by God to protect you from the subtle deceptions that can creep into your life. Its appearance is a call to pay attention to the dangers that might be hidden in plain sight, people with ulterior motives, toxic environments, or negative influences that are not immediately obvious. The serpent doesn't attack directly, but instead reveals the spiritual deception lurking beneath the surface. When it appears, God is urging you to take caution and not to trust blindly, reminding you that not everything or everyone around you is aligned with your spiritual purpose. Then we explored the dog, a protector of loyalty and discernment. The dog's spiritual role is one of guardianship, alerting you to the shifts in energy around you. It helps you detect when someone's loyalty to you is wavering or when someone's intentions have changed. The dog's instincts are finely tuned, allowing it to sense what you might not be able to recognize on your own. Through the dog, God is showing you where to place your trust and where to pull back. The dog warns you that not every person in your life is aligned with your light, and it is your responsibility to protect your heart, your spirit, and your purpose from those who are no longer walking with you in truth. The falcon then entered with its powerful message of spiritual elevation. The falcon calls you to rise above your current environment, to move beyond the limitations that are holding you back, and to embrace the higher calling God has prepared for you. The falcon reminds you that you were created for more than your current situation. You are not meant to remain small, hiding your gifts, or limiting your dreams to fit in with others. The falcon challenges you to rise above and step into the next level of your spiritual journey. It calls you to expand your vision, to see the possibilities that lie beyond the constraints of your current surroundings, and to trust that God is leading you to something greater. Each of these animals, the owl, the raven, the serpent, the dog, and the falcon, has brought us profound insights into the ways God speaks through creation. But there are many more animals that serve as divine messengers, offering guidance, protection, and revelation at different points in our spiritual journey. Whether it's the cat, which alerts you to environments that drain your spiritual energy, or the butterfly, which signifies transformation and rebirth, each creature is a reminder that God is always speaking to us through the world around us. What I hope you've come to understand through this exploration is that these animals are not random occurrences or mere coincidences. God speaks to His chosen ones in ways that resonate deeply within their spirits, through signs, symbols, and messages that touch the very core of their being. The key is learning to recognize these signs, to tune into the divine whispers that are all around you, and to trust that these encounters are not just happenstance, but part of God's ongoing guidance in your life. Sometimes the signs are subtle: a bird that crosses your path at the right moment, a sudden appearance of a certain animal in your dreams, or even an encounter with a creature during a time of emotional struggle. These moments are not random. They are God's way of speaking directly to your spirit, guiding you in ways that go beyond the logical, beyond what can be seen with the eyes. So I encourage you to reflect on the animals that have crossed your path, especially those that have appeared repeatedly, or at times when you felt uncertain, lost, or in need of direction. Have you noticed any particular creature showing up in your life in ways that feel significant? Perhaps it's time to pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself what message God may be sending you through that creature. The journey of spiritual discernment is not always easy. It requires us to trust our intuition, to stay open to the signs around us, and to have the courage to move when God calls us. Just like the owl's revelation, the raven's call for release, the serpent's warning of hidden danger, the dog's discerning loyalty, and the falcon's invitation to rise, each animal speaks to us at different moments in our journey. And when we learn to listen, we are guided with wisdom, protection, and clarity. Before I close, I want to remind you that the process of discernment is an ongoing one. As you walk the path God has set before you, there will be many more moments of clarity and guidance through animals, through signs, and through the subtle workings of the divine. Each of us is on a unique journey, and while the path may sometimes feel uncertain, know that God is with you, guiding you every step of the way. So my dear friends, I thank you for walking this path of discovery with me today. I hope that you now see the animals around you in a new light, that you recognize them as messengers, each carrying a divine message to help you navigate life's challenges, transitions, and moments of growth. When the owl crosses your path, when the raven calls you to release, when the serpent exposes hidden danger, when the dog helps you discern loyalty, and when the falcon invites you to rise, remember that these are not just creatures, they are part of God's beautiful creation, speaking to you with love and guidance. As we part ways, I encourage you to stay open to the signs God is sending you. Listen closely to the movements around you, pay attention to the creatures that appear in your life, and trust in the wisdom that they carry. God's guidance is always present, and when you learn to recognize these divine messages, you will walk with a greater sense of clarity, peace, and purpose. May you be blessed with the discernment to see the signs around you, the courage to follow the path that God has laid before you, and the wisdom to trust in the divine guidance that is always with you. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and until we meet again, may you walk in peace, love, and light. Goodbye, and may God bless you.